What's going on, guys? I'm your host, Greg McQuillin, and we are back for another segment of America's #1 podcast, America, the Blind Eye. Today, I have an interesting topic to discuss with you all, and that's the effects that exposure to media violence has on children. This is so important when looking at how media violence has led to an increase of aggressive behavior in children as they get older. The guest co-host for this evening is someone who takes quite an interest in this topic, and I'm so excited to announce our guest co-host of the evening as a current Olympic and professional athlete, Taylor McQuillin. Taylor, thanks so much for chatting it up with me tonight about media violence and its effects on children.
Hey everyone, thanks so much, Greg, for having me. I'm so excited to be on America's #1 podcast, America, the Blind Eye, and I'm so excited to talk about this topic that we've got for you all lined up tonight.
Okay, cool. So what is it about media that you feel people find fascinating and that continues to keep people coming back asking for more?
I think the biggest thing, obviously, is just the suspense of seeing something new, following storylines that may have, originally got brought up in the past. You see another topic about it, you see another release of a headline about it, you're interestingly tied in and you click on it and you go for it. But on top of that, that leads into a whole nother topic of getting pulled into rabbit holes. I don't know how many times I've sat on social media and just gone down the rabbit hole, and next thing I know, I look up, it's been an hour that's passed. And, I'm not just the only person that does that, I hope, but the list goes on, really. I think that another thing could just be everybody wants to be more informed about what's going on in the world around them. And whether that's portrayed as good or bad media, that's just, it is what it is. But correct me if I'm wrong, Greg, but do you feel that social media has more of a positive or negative effect on children?
Yeah, for sure. I think that, looking at the positives, there's a lot of positives with social media for kids. If you look at shows like Paw Patrol, Sesame Street, Barney, and the list goes on. But you can also see that, these things are connected to the social learning theory that we discussed earlier in the semester, which these kids are learning from the behaviors and imitating the people they see on social media and on the screens, throughout their lives, and how they're learning and the process of their learning as they're growing up. However, you can see the negative effects that the social learning theory has when these kids are playing video games like GTA, Call of Duty, Fortnite, and they're seeing all this violence, and they're imitating the bad behavior that they're seeing that in these video games that they're playing, or that's on the media. For example, the GTA, there was an issue recently in regards to an 11-year-old, school kid who was driving a school bus thinking he was playing GTA in real life, and it took the cops, 45 minutes to try to get this guy to pull over. And I think that's, been a big issue recently with, some of the negative effects that these video games have caused on these younger kids who shouldn't be playing these mature games at such a young age.
Right. Well, take a look at it. It's still fairly recent, but 2008 viral sensation Latarian Milton driving his grandma's Durango all around town about 2 miles down the road just because he wanted to go out and do something bad because that's what he's seen on the media. So the social learning theory really connects here. Is okay, what are you doing if your kid is, or a child in general, is taking what they're seeing and trying to put that acting into real life, And I think that it just shows what's going on in the world today. Not everything that these kids are seeing is great viewership for them. And that has the negative effects on social media right there.
Yeah, it's interesting that you brought up the internet sensation Latarian Milton. I have a quick clip right now that we are going to share with the listeners back home.
Along the way, he ran over 2 mailboxes, hit 2 parked cars in a Costco parking lot, and struck 2 moving cars near Walmart.
I want to do it because it's fun. It's fun to do bad things, drive into a car.
Well, did you know that you could perhaps kill somebody?
Yes, but I wanted to do hood rat stuff with my friend.
It all ended on Investment Lane and Consumer Drive. That's where Latarian hit the curb and sideswiped the sign.
Wow. After listening to that clip, Latarian Milton, 7 years old, and the kid just wanted to go out there and do bad things, driving a Durango, his grandmother's car, or any car in general. No 7-year-old should think that that's okay. Just if that doesn't explain the negative effects that media can have on children, I don't know. He quoted he wanted to do hood rat stuff. Greg, what even is hood rat stuff? How does a 7-year-old know or is able to define that term? I have no idea. Wow, I am in shock.
Exactly. Do you think, it's concerning that censorship on media violence is limited in regard to where it was at the start of social media?
I mean, yeah, I think it should be concerning a little bit. You look at social media apps like Twitter, Reddit, etc., where they don't even have censorship at all. And I mean, some media apps, don't get me wrong, have censorship that maybe isn't the right type of style of censorship that is needed. But how can you let a 7-year-old go on social media, see something, and next thing you know, they're the Latarian Milton driving a car down the street at age 7? Like, that's just crazy to me. I think that it's super important that censorship is looked at and maybe reviewed a bit, because when I was watching social media, when I was younger, social media had just started coming out. So the things that you could even see or do, I mean, now you're looking at 2 decades later, and the list really goes on. It's kind of endless is what they're looking at and what they can see.
Yeah, exactly. And I think for the future, of the benefit of children's overall learning behavior and how they operate, I think it's super important to change the societal norms on allowing children to see all this stuff. So I hope in the future that we can make a change and try to benefit these kids' learning process. Well, guys, that was an interesting topic and discussion with our guest co-host, Taylor McQuillin. I'm very excited that you guys joined in for today's podcast and the connection media violence has with the social learning theory on children. I think that to benefit their future, we need to do a better job of censoring some things that the media shows for the kids' sakes in learning and behavioral aspects in the future. Thank you.